I think when you remove people, at least in the case of this show, you're removing people as an experience, but that doesn't mean that you're removing people as a symbol, because the symbol is everywhere. So it's just like creating these abstracted social experiences that have to do with like shopping, consuming, performing live. But when you don't have a person there, I think what's left is thinking about how the system works as a whole.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Juan Obando. I'm a Colombian artist from Bogota, Colombia. This show is called Full Collabs, and it's being shown now at the Distillery Gallery here in Boston. When I started thinking about the iconography and kind of like symbolism that kind of was threading the whole show, the pieces itself started kind of like talking to me and revealing a bunch of like similarities that I wasn't even aware of when I was making them. And all of them had to deal with the idea of the digitized human figure, or like the abstracted human figure in many different ways. One of them will be a logo, like the logo of Air Jordan. What does it signify? How it's abstracted from this like cult figure like Michael Jordan, or for example the raised fist emoji. What does it mean? How do we use it? How is that replacing real life protest or actions of protest, and which ones are more effective, or are they effective at all? I was very interested in the idea of how these icons are not like static and they become signals that we use as a society. We're talking about all these signals and movements and gestures, so I was really interested in the gesture of like how can I start like a revolution, and how can I oppose a political system through just swiping and pressing buttons, which is something that we're doing a lot, like we're expressing ourselves, our disagreements, our stances, our motivations, manifestos through typing and swiping. And then I thought, of course, an app, that would be the sound of like one finger snapping, like I don't even have to like touch my fingers. I can just touch a screen. Like you're occupying the whole power of your mobile device, and that way I can like block the idea of like the selfie and the texting, because into just snapping, just like making like a very absurd commentary on that. And that's how I think like the human figure has kind of like informed a lot of this. But you ask also about like gatherings and private and public moments. And I think the karaoke piece, like No Effects, it's very clear about that, and I hope it is. It kind of like takes you as a spectator, and it kind of like corners you to a space where you're no longer inactive. You're not like a passive observer of a video art piece. You're behind a microphone, taking a platform and taking a stance behind a microphone that it's activated. The light is also directed at you, so you become almost a performer while you're consuming a piece of video art. Yeah, I think this body of work kind of like marks a little bit of like a change in patterns or like rhythms of working. But for this project here today, I was very interested in how real life is becoming so digitized and so like uploaded to the cloud. That's why you find all these kind of like abstractions, animations, stock images. There's not like a trace of a real like human in the work. And I think that's a transition that's very new for my work, at least. I used to work a lot with like real people in real life situations that were orchestrated for the main purpose of either creating a video art piece or a series of photographs or something. But in this case, I was more interested in these abstracted kind of versions of the human figure rather than humans themselves. When I moved to Boston, I started having conversations with Pat Falco, who's the director of the gallery. A lot of our conversations were just directed at the like current state of like politics and capitalism, and how those conditions can like affect like aesthetic production and also the aesthetic form of like society as we know it. This thing that you cannot escape, that is ever expanding, and that it seems to be governing every aspect of our lives. First, it doesn't need like a propaganda machine of its own, like everything works as a propaganda for capitalism. And at the same time, capitalism involves or embraces anti-capitalism. Like the antidote is in the virus itself. How many people have been to a Supreme store, but it doesn't mean that we're all permeated by its presence. And I think that's this complete success of a brand, like to be part of the air that we breathe. And I think with Jordan the same, for like 25 years you see this logo and you immediately relate it to the brand, and you immediately relate it to what the brand means and how like pervasive it is.